It's Thursday night.
Thursday.
Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome to Loot Shooter Weekly. I'm gamertag Burt Reynolds. Right up there is the one and only Golden Voice Gaming Negan Killjoy.
Hello,
And
Bert. And how's
how you
Bert
doing,
doing?
Negan? I'm doing well tonight, Negan. I'm doing well.
Good, good. Things are
I'm
going well in your life. We just talked about it.
Yeah, things are going well today.
Good.
And looking forward to the weekend.
Any break in the weather for you? You've been having snow and stuff for the last couple of weekends. Any break for you?
No, I think it was 21 degrees today. It's supposed to snow again this weekend, so. But then again, I do live in Chicago. That's not to be expected or anything.
Right. All right. This time of year, you're not like, oh my gosh, what a surprise. This is more
not
the norm
not a shocker. If it was a shocker, then there'd be a problem, right? Like I've lived here my whole life. It is
exactly
what it is.
Yeah, you're not paying attention if it's a shocker.
Right. So yeah, but basically that's it. It's cold, it's winter, good time to be playing video games because it's cold and it's winter. So there's that.
It's cold. If it makes you feel even remotely at all any better at all, it is below 60s here in California, and it's been raining for the last 3 or 4 days. So it's cold and wet for California. So if it makes you feel any better, that I'm suffering through a horrible, horrible winter on my side as well. Maybe
I do not delight in your misery. So it doesn't bring me any joy to hear that, but because
don't delight in my misery. Thank you, I appreciate it.
I don't. But it's good to know that it's a little chilly out there. I mean, I suppose that that's kind of unusual for you, right? I mean, that's not your norm. You're normally warmer than that. And
normally it's usually hangs around the 60s and stuff like that, but yeah, it's been getting down, like I said, I think it's about 50 something today, maybe 54 today, and it's been getting in the low 40s at night. So it's been kind of a chilly cold snap for us, and it's wet, which is nice. We need the rain. I'm not going to complain about the rain. We need the rain.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I'm not in SoCal, where SoCal is getting so much rain that they're like having landslides and they're evacuating. And in some places, apparently, they are both under a fire watch and a landslide flood water watch. So there's California for you right there. California in a nutshell right there for you.
Yeah, I don't like to hear that either. That's miserable. Yeah. That sucks. Yeah.
So
it's all just snow here. I mean, nothing could start on fire here. You can't.
Right.
The only land.
Right.
All the land is frozen, so it can't slide anywhere. We have a lot of snow slides, but no landslides. No avalanches either. We're not on a mountain, so flat, boring, cold, and snowy.
More worried about the human slides than the snow slides.
Correct. Yep. But it's good time to be inside. Good time to play some video games.
Yes, it is.
I believe you titled our stream tonight 2 weeks of hunting season left or something along those lines. And
exactly what I named it.
Yeah, so we're playing tonight from Destiny, and you're kind of wrapping up the season of the hunt. It's not even 2 weeks, right? I mean, we're looking at...
the 9th is when it drops. The next
9th.
Season 9th, yeah.
So it's like a week and a half away. Very little details on what's coming in the new season, other than we know we're getting a third landing zone on Europa, so that you don't have to sparrow all the way up to the northern part of the map anymore. Which
was that seriously official? I thought that was kind of a joke that somebody put out there, but that's been made official.
No, I believe that's official. Official. So it's cool. Nice. Tonight we're just going to run some strikes, and we're going to talk a little bit about kind of both of our mutual thoughts on how this season went, what we liked, what we didn't like. Talk a little bit about what's coming next week with The Division. So The Division gets an update a week ahead of this. So I think next week we'll play some Division and check out the update there. And not a ton of new news this week for Borderlands. There's another event going on in the arms race this week where you can extract additional gear, and additional gear will drop in the arms race. But we released our Amara video that we did last week today. Thank you for your hard work on that, Negan. And
thank you for your hard work on the build.
So we figured we'd take a week and come back here and take a look at this, because this will be changing, and next week we'll take a look at the division when it has changed and get a little update from all three of our favorite games.
There we go. Exactly. But first, what's the important thing we got to take care of first, since it is Thursday? And as they say, Thursdays.
We have to kick the purple ball off the second store.
Yeah. Yeah, you caught me. Yeah. Kick the purple ball. That's what we're here for.
We got to get it. We got to get it downstairs. That's probably the important thing. Or it's, what are you drinking? I mean, I guess that's also important.
Come on. What are you drinking? It's supposed to be more excited. What are you drinking tonight?
What am I drinking? Well, I think it's your week to go first, isn't it?
I think it is. And although I'm a little not ashamed of myself, I don't think that's the right word, but I'm putting aside my beer snobbery on only drinking micro crafts or craft brews and stuff this week. I'm going with a big name. So I'm
Bud Light, Bud Light Lime.
No,
we get some.
No, not that direction. Oh gosh, I don't know if I could ever go that direction in a while. No, I'm actually going with a Blue Moon tonight, but it's a Blue Moon iced coffee blonde.
I have some of that in my fridge.
Nice. So
I think I have one in there.
There we go. So that's what I'm going with. And it's because it sounded good. I like lagers, I like blondes, and I like coffee. And they simply say this is a golden colored wheat ale made with fair trade decaf coffee beans. So the decaf is a little disappointing. You know, you really want to have that extra kick with your beer. But that's what I'm doing. The ice coffee blonde from Blue Moon.
Ice coffee blonde from Blue Moon. So I just looked in my fridge, and I actually apparently do not have any of it left. I did have some of that, and it was good. It was good.
That's what I'm hoping. I do enjoy Blue Moon, so that is, like I said, that's one of my, I guess, guilty pleasure. If you're a craft guy that you always want to drink craft brews and stuff like that, there's the occasional big brews that you like, and Blue Moon's one of them. I actually enjoy a Blue Moon every now and then, and they're pretty popular. They're pretty easy to get around places, so there's that. But yes, iced coffee Blue Moon. What are you drinking tonight? Am I coffee stout? Any chance? Did we not coordinate again?
No, we did not. And I don't have a COVID lockdown beer. I actually managed to score something from outside of the house.
I was concerned. I was concerned about last week with your COVID lockdown beers. What you're going to come up with? Some.
I managed to get a hold of this is Wanderland by Sierra Nevada. It's a very pretty bottle, and it is a Sierra Nevada's Nectarine Ale.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've had that or not.
So that's a seasonal right now, and I figure it's a good time of year for nectarines, and I like the mandarins and the clementines, but this is nectarine. So that's what I'm going to try, and that's from your out in your neck of the woods. So
nice. All right, my friend.
Be good.
And cheers.
Cheers.
Look at the color. It's a beautiful color too.
The delicious taste of kind of pine needles.
Oh, wouldn't be a good start for me. All right, so I suppose I can just jump into a strike now, so we can chit chat and do the strike thing.
Yep. Let's do that.
So talk about the season. So, Season of the Hunt. What did you think of the Season of the Hunt?
What did I think of the season event? Well, maybe unpopular opinion. I actually sort of, I read a lot of salt on Reddit over the season of the hunt, the activity being, kind of minimal and boring, and I agree with that. I agree with that 100% compared to something like the Sundial, which I think was, for me, the kind of the high point. I liked the Sundial event. This is a more or less a solo activity, or we do it sometimes in a group, but it's not required. You can easily solo all of those hunts.
You're talking about the Wraithborns?
Yeah, the Wraithborn hunts.
Okay.
Because that's the seasonal content, right? Europa would be the DLC. That would be Season of the Hunt, the seasonal content. And You know, from that perspective, man, it is it's not great from a content perspective, but I do like the fact that it allows me to target the pieces of loot that I really need in order to level up my character's power level. You know, if you're strategic with it, you can kind of wait till towards the end of the week and really fill in pieces that you need upgrades on. Which is
that's
sweet.
very true.
That's cool. Yes. You know, if you can do the pinnacle event, the go chase down Zivu Arath, you know, on like Monday and get your pinnacle out of it, but then you can save your 4 powerful drops for later in the week and, you know, really get that upgrade when you need it. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the targeted loot was really nice. I agree with that as well, just because of that same exact fact that you can go for the legs if you need the legs and stuff like that.
Right. And that, you know, like the Sundial was a much more fun activity, and the Sundial had great loot. It's not like it didn't have good loot. It had awesome loot, but there was absolutely no targeting of that loot. You know, it's just you were at the mercy of whatever dropped, and show us what it was. This is kind of cool. It's kind of cool, kind of fun. Now, if they just had a meaningful activity to put with it, then we'd be in good shape.
Right, exactly.
So if that, you know, if that's really all that's this season, I think the other thing that really got added on a seasonal level was the Harbinger mission, which we've run a couple times, and you know, getting some random rolled Hawk Moons. That's a fun mission. It's a very fun mission. I like it. And
they change it up a little bit, as we noticed. So the mission last week was different from the mission this week. The boss fights were different. I didn't do last week's, obviously. Well, not obviously. I didn't do last week's, but you did.
Right.
And you've done this week's as well, and you mentioned the bosses were different. So, and I think you also mentioned that
some of the pathways were different. It wasn't exactly the same. I mean, it's the same environment, but the way that you get to the final boss and stuff is different. So, you know, it's kind of cool. Caused a little bit of confusion when we ran it, because, you know, I was misdirecting us to the wrong place because I'd run it last week, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't too difficult. It wasn't overwhelmingly difficult to get through it. I mean, there was a jumpy puzzle struggle, normal, which is normal.
Yeah. This week was definitely a lot easier than last week's, which, I mean, I guess you kind of, some weeks of when they've done the same sort of thing in the past, which, you know, they did that kind of with Blindwell, and they did it with Escalation Protocol. Some bosses were harder than others. You know, some weeks were easier, some weeks were harder.
Yeah, it's the same thing they do with the Ascendant Challenge and stuff like that. The different ones, different paths and stuff like that.
So, yeah, that was very much that, right? So I wonder if there's some aspect of it that's, you know, kind of like that, where some weeks will be hard weeks and some weeks will be easy weeks, and just kind of depends. Not all weeks are equal. I did really like the new DLC. A lot of the aspects of the new DLC I like. I obviously I don't like the sunsetting thing. That still makes no sense to me, and I do not like it. But I like Europa, and
you're talking, you know, sunsetting of weapons in general, or are you talking just everything that they're doing as far as like archiving the planets and stuff like that? Or are you just talking the weapons when you talk about you don't like the sunsetting?
I don't like the sunsetting of the weapons and armor. I guess I don't have much of an opinion on the sunsetting of the content. I understood the need to do that because, you know, consoles in particular, I mean, devoting a lot of space and performance to something, to one game, you know, I respect their need to clear some space out. But I don't like the armor weapon sunsetting. I don't think that doesn't feel particularly good to me.
Gotcha. So you're not looking forward to the sunsetting coming up then, huh?
No, I am not. Now, I got rid of everything that was going to expire at the end of the season anyway, so I'm not like there's nothing that's expiring for me right now, but the gun I'm using right here will expire at the end of next season, and so how much do I want to sink into these guns like coming up next season? Will I infuse them up or not? Because I don't really want to waste valuable enhancement cores on something that's not going to stick around.
Now so next season and stuff like that, aren't they making enhancement cores easier to get, or they're making a more logical path to enhancement cores? I thought I was reading something about that they're doing away with tokens.
Yeah, which I'm happy about.
Right, yeah, tokens are the whole token thing is kind of pointless.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Excited to get rid of the token system. Yeah, they probably are overhauling it. I don't remember exactly what they said about that. It could, I mean, the enhancement core system, the upgrade modules, that's a frustrating experience too. I don't like those.
Yeah, so that's what they're talking about, is that according to some of the websites, is the rewards for core activities are also going to be changing. Tokens will be a thing of the past, blah, blah, blah. Like you get rank 4, you get 3 upgrade modules, you get rank 7, you get enhancement cores, ritual shaders, enhancement prisms, etc., that way. But it's based on your rank as opposed to how many tokens you get in, so they're adding that aspect of it. What it looks like.
Okay. Well, I welcome that change for sure, man. I totally welcome that change. I think that'll be all of that's going to be good, good changes. But the thing they are not doing, which I think is kind of cool, is they are not sunsetting the activities from this season at the end of next season. So Wrathborn hunts are here to stay. All the Europa stuff's here to stay. Obviously, we'll get a new season pass model with all that stuff, but the activities are not going away. And I don't think they're going away at all this year. I think they're going to keep all that stuff. I think that's kind of the commitment, is everything's going to stick around for the year. So that's kind of neat and different, right? I mean, the frustrating part on the weapon front, though, is like they're bringing back the Moon and Dreaming City, some of the gear from there, and yet you'll have to go refarm it. So,
right.
Man, talk about feeling bad, like especially those Dreaming City weapons. I had all the curated roles. I spent a lot of time acquiring all that stuff, and I've already dismantled it because, it wasn't going to be worth anything at the end of the season. And now I'm going to have to go get it all again. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and you wonder if it's really going to make a huge difference. I mean, they're sunsetting 21 weapons or something like that.
Something like that.
It doesn't sound like they're bringing back maybe half as many as they're bringing back. So, right. It doesn't sound like they're doing a good balance as far as that goes. And they're taking away, I guess, one of the snipers that they're taking away is the only type of sniper, the void sniper that's out there, and stuff like that. So they're taking away some of the diversity that can be in there in the builds.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even more infuriating or frustrating about the whole thing is, like, again, there's armor sunsetting, which that one makes no sense, right? Like, none. It already doesn't make sense, because the armor we get today is, like I'm got stuff that sunset at the end of last season, meaning when I came in here, it had a max cap of 1050, and I'm getting those same armor pieces now with a 1410 cap on them. Literally no different. There again, that was just dumb, and they're going to do it again, because some of the stuff we have has 1360 on it, some of it has 1410. So, like, I don't know, like, armor should never be sunset, in my opinion. That's just pure attempt to add additional grind to the game.
Right.
Plain and simple. You know what I mean? Like, especially if the armor's not really it's not new sets or different sets. There's nothing officially different about it. Like, why in the world would you do that? Oh, I know. You need to add a fake amount of grind to a game. So that people feel like they have something new to do.
Yeah, and there isn't, and again, this goes back to, I think you touched on it really. The Wraithborn hunts are a new thing, but there's really not a whole lot of new content or new stuff to chase or new stuff to do. So I'm curious what the next season, if it'll bring, what it will bring as far as new stuff or new activities. Because yeah, it's to the point now. Again, and we always talk about it, and we always make the comment that it's checklist gaming, and it's the same thing, same places, same. We ran Nightfall last night was this particular strike, so here we are running the strike that we ran, 20 times last night. It felt like.
Yeah, for the Nightfall. I mean, at least this is cakewalk. We can do it with a beer in hand.
Beer in hand while talking, exactly.
Right. Last night, not so much, but I mean, that is, again, we play a lot of different games, right? And every game has their fake, sort of way to get you to grind more. Borderlands, it was always, power level cap increase, right? And we'd have to go grind the same guns and armor that we had at, level cap 60, at level cap 65. But the difference there is there's no infusion system, and good stuff can drop anywhere in that game at any time, and there's good targeted loot farms, and it doesn't take long. The hard part in this is it's all RNG, right? So like if you spent months getting a god roll of a falling guillotine, and then they're going to take it away and give it back to you. Now, they haven't said that they're doing that. The guillotine ends at the end of next season. But let's say they took it away and then they gave it back. Well, now I got to go farm that god roll again. I might not get that in a whole season, right? Because there's not like a guaranteed way to get that again.
Right, exactly.
And the activities that drop some of the best stuff in this game are not easily done. And there's no corresponding, other than the curated roles, like in something like, or not curated roles, but like the adept weapons in Trials, there's no corresponding payout to harder content always gets you what you want. It just gets you more of something, right? Like more chances at something, or more enhancement cores, or more ascendant shards. I got this pulse rifle that I'm running right before we started playing tonight, and it's a Geon 7. I know you like those. I got one with swashbuckler and disruption break on it, which is a fantastic roll, and high caliber rounds. It's just a great roll. But I could go a whole, like, if they took that gun away and then gave it back to me, I might not see this roll again ever.
Right.
I have no way to target this gun. If I did get it, it would just be out of pure luck. So it's like having that get taken away from you. That sucks. If like, seriously sucks.
Yeah, for no other reason, just to, like we talked about, just to create a new grind. That doesn't make any, from a player perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense. From what I can see and stuff like that. Right.
That 7th Seraph gun that our Blueberry's running, that's going away at the end of next season. There's I don't know, man. It's that part of it is just infuriating to me. I love the infusion system. That's their way of reducing RNG in this game, was that you could always infuse things up, so once you got a god rolled gun, you loved it. You could have it forever.
Right.
This basically undid all of that, so
completely takes it away.
Completely takes away. And then, you have the model that like the Division uses, which is, again, a totally different model. They just keep adding new gear, new brand sets, and that's how they keep the grind going, right? Like every, I don't know, 3 months, they add another brand and more gear. And I think I like that better. I think that feels better.
I think I do enjoy that a little bit more as well, just because you have the stuff that you like, so you can keep it. There's no punishment for you keeping it, and the different levels and stuff that they add as far as that goes. Yeah, I like what they do, and I think they do a good job with the targeted loot. Really, honestly, although we haven't played it for a while, we haven't been in there for a while, but I think the way they do the targeted loot, I think other games should really take heed of and look at and say, okay, you're going to do specific activities at specific times. You get this specific type of loot that you can chase. I think they did a really good job with that personally.
They did. I agree with you. My only issue with that game is purely in the gameplay itself. It's not the gameplay in that game. It has no good middle ground, and you and we've discussed that a million times. Not the loot loop in that game is amazing, but the gameplay loop is hard because the difference between challenging and heroic is not a little bit harder. It's like you're not even playing the same game.
Right.
And so you hit walls where you're not getting better loot. Now they added the called optimization station, which we had in 1, but then they made it very expensive. So the update next week addresses that, and it's not going to be nearly as expensive. And so we're going to go back and check it out because of that, right? I mean,
that's right.
So that will allow you to run medium to hard level content, not always have to go for ridiculously heroic content just to get, because we're both at the point where anything short of like a heroic level drop isn't going to be an upgrade for anything for us, right? So it's like go over there and play only the hardest content or don't bother from a loot perspective. I mean, we could go chase an exotic or two or something, but so I'm excited to see how that works out next week.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. I mean, so that's maybe one thing I do love. I think about the season pass model over here is you get the armor drops within the season pass. A lot of it's account specific, but the armor drops within that are character specific. And so you can wait till the end of the season like you just did. You really ran this whole season on your hunter. And come in at the end when you're pretty well power leveled up and just pick up all the armor from your season pass, and you'll end up at only a little bit shy of where your main character is at from a power level standpoint.
That is true. That is exactly what happened.
You get 3 of each piece of armor in the season pass track. And the last set, if you pick up the last set last, they're high stat armor, which is really pretty cool. It's a good deal.
I went from 1050 to about 12. I have to double check to 12, at least 1230, 1240 on both other second and third tunes without doing anything other than going in season pass and just pulling it out as, figuring out what my low piece was, getting that piece, then the next lowest piece and stuff like that. So yeah, that was pretty nice. That was kind of the thing I dislike, and it's with all the games, is the fact that to get the stasis stuff, I have to go back through and run all the same missions that I had to run through on my hunter already once. I got to do that again on my Titan, and if I wanted to get the stasis there, I have to do it on my Warlock. So that stuff is an account one, and I understand why they do that as well. But sometimes I just wish they wouldn't make you do it.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you there. And especially maybe even more, especially on the stasis front, I'm even less bothered by having to go back through the story to get stasis. But the aspects and grenades and everything else I've unlocked on one character, I don't want to have to go unlock on a second character. Because, man, that's where the grind's at, right?
Right.
Probably should talk about how we felt about what we...
Man's place in the universe?
Yes, Man's place in the universe.
How do you feel about Man's place in the universe? It pretty much centers around him, so we're all good. It's all good.
You know my position on Man's place in the universe.
Yes.
Yes. We have that conversation often. Yeah, Man's place in the universe. God created us. We're sinful. We need a savior. That's my perspective on it. But no, that wasn't what we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about what we were having, what we had to drink tonight, and how you felt about that, and kind of wrap up. And
secondary concerns to Man's Place in the Universe is what did the beer taste like you had tonight?
way back in the priority list.
Right, little further down the list, exactly.
So how'd you like like I said, I think I've had that coffee blonde. How'd you feel about it?
Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. It's definitely, you can definitely taste and smell the coffee, and it still has the beer taste to it, if that makes sense. So it still tastes like a blonde ale, but it's like you're almost drinking coffee right along with it. So it's really good. I enjoyed it. I'm very happy I drank it, even though it is not craft brew.
And it's decaf. I was also disappointed when I found out it was decaf. When I had it, I thought, oh man, decaf, really? That's a huge letdown. Gotta have caffeine if you're gonna have a cold brew coffee based stout or whatever.
That's right.
Blonde, any of those. Gotta have the caffeine.
Exactly. And I actually I know one of the major coffee companies does blonde coffee as well. So I think that's it does taste very similar to that. It does like a golden blonde coffee that you can get at I call it Sucky Bucks, but Starbucks. So it's very good. It's very tasty. It's enjoyable. If you like coffee, I think you'd like this. If you like beer, you like this. If you like, so both together, cheers. I didn't finish it though, so a little bit left, so I'm disappointed. But how about you? What do you think of yours?
It's good. I am like not even halfway through mine. I was really focused on that strike. But it definitely has a strong nectarine taste. So if you like fruity, it's good. But it is a little. Sierra Nevada always tends to be a little hoppy for my liking, and this is no exception. There's strong IPA-ish hops in it. I'm like, gotcha. Ooh, that's bitter. So as usual.
And when you say it has the strong nectarine taste, does it taste strong like it was like a lot of nectarines were used, or strong like a nectarine flavoring was used? We've talked about that too.
Yeah, no, it's not like that peach one I had the one time that tasted totally fake. This tastes real. This tastes like a lot of nectarines are used. But I don't think, like with, well, you know how it is for me, right? Like I typically try and get this stuff loose, right? One at a time, because I don't drink beer any other real night of the week than Thursday night usually. And so I was not able to get this
influence. Yes.
I know. I was not able to get this loose, like it's part of a 6-pack, and I think that will still be there in summer. I don't think it would be something I would ever. It's okay, but I don't think I would ever sit down and be like, yeah, I'm going to have a beer and that's what I want to have. You know what I mean? Like, So, but if you're into IPAs or it's summer, it probably tastes good. I think their seasonal aspect is off.
Gotcha. More of a summer seasonal type thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But we could, tie that back into Destiny because their seasonal content's a little off right now too. So, a little off par.
Nice. Well tied.
You like what
nice segue. Good job.
Like what I did there? Yeah. So I am kind of looking at
bad seasons all around. Bad seasons.
Just off. It's just off, right? Like I again love the DLC content that got added. I love Europa, and I like the way I can tailor things in the hunts, but the seasonal content in this game was just lacking. You know what? And I keep telling myself I'm trying to have a lot of I don't know what you'd call it, mercy for all the game developers out there right now, right? Because they're not, I don't know that we're going to get good new content for any game during this time. Everybody's working from home. It's not the normal environment. Maybe we just have to accept the fact that every game, especially games that are games as a service, are just not going to have the level of updates they've had in the past. And maybe that's okay. Maybe our expectations are wrong. We've been in a pandemic for almost a year, so
yeah, very true. So you have empathy is the word I think you're looking for. Empathy for him.
Yeah, empathy. Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense. And
Reddit is savage, right? Reddit's been
yeah.
savage about this season on the developers, calling them out by name, and all the stuff that goes on in Reddit. And
yeah,
I don't know.
Sometimes it's not a nice place. Not a nice place. You got to take everything. Well, everything with Reddit is with a grain of salt. So
because it is the home of salt.
Mm-hmm,
yes,
exactly.
But I think you think about like the whole last 12 months, right? Like people who are used to working in teams face to face at studios like Bungie, or Gearbox, or Massive, have had to go work from home. And crunch time from home isn't the same thing as crunch time with like your comrades that you're used to working with in the office. And game studios are very fun and engaging places, right? And it's a very cool environment, very collaborative environment. They do a lot to curate that, and then you put all those people at home.
Yeah, it's hard to recreate that same environment online.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so maybe we're just not gonna for this time period, and maybe that's okay because it's just a game,
Mm-hmm.
But on that front, I didn't enjoy this as much as I did Sundial or some of the other previous seasons. So we'll see what they got for us in a week and a half, and next week we'll see what the guys at Massive have for us in the Division 2, and check out their latest update and see what kind of new stuff there is there. And
right. And this possible sad news with Massive. Well, the good news for Massive is that we talked about, I think, last week with the Star Wars stuff.
So that's what an
cool
honor.
For, Massive
what an honor for them
as a studio. The downside is that probably means Division 3, if there was ever going to be a Division 3, is pushed off or probably has been shelved. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with Division 2. If it's just, here and there updates, or if it's just a matter of, they put the optimization station in, they're dropping this big update next week, and if it just kind of goes into maintenance mode at that point, which would be a little sad. I mean, I think we both enjoyed playing Division 2 quite a bit. We definitely enjoyed playing Division. Division was a really good game.
Yeah, Division will go down in history as one of my favorite games of all time.
I mean, yes, absolutely.
Without a doubt. One of the best.
We'll see. But there was discussion what Paul Tassi talked about, possibly people were saying that maybe Red Storm could pick up the Division mantle and take it from there, see what they could do with it.
That would I legitimately wouldn't mind that. Red Storm used to make Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six, back in the day, the heyday of those games.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, is because they have Tom Clancy quote, environment experience. So
that would be pretty cool, honestly. Yeah. I mean, they did a great job with those games, so I would not mind if they picked up the mantle on that. So maybe they'll do that. That would be cool.
It would be nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think with that we'll close out for the night, and thanks for stopping by. Thank you to Ben for stopping by, and appreciate that. And next week again we'll cover Division 2, and I think with that I'll say see ya.
Good to go.
And you can close this out. I'll say it. See ya.
All right. Thanks, Burt.
All right. Thanks, Negan.